Jessica Dean with AIM Integrated Logistics. I'm here today with a very special guest, our customer, Wincore Windows. We're here today to talk a little bit about Wincore Windows, their history, and how dedicated contract carriage with AIM has benefited their business model. Thank you for joining us. So can you guys tell us a little bit about Wincore? What do you do? Where do you operate? And what is the history of the company?
Well, we have Wincore began in 2007. We began, we're still a private company. The majority of our leadership came from another window manufacturing facility, and we left for different reasons and began Wincore in 2007, which, if you know, in 2008, there was a great time in our United States history where we had our, what would that be, a recession? We just chose not to participate in the recession. So without having any overhead, we did not have to do any cutbacks. We could simply grow. And through that time, we were able to gain market share. And through everything in industry is built on relationships. And we were able to bring our relationships forward with some key customers. Those key customers being Sears, Home Depot, Window World, and grow our business from there. And we currently have expanded into 3 campuses. We have our 250 Staunton Turnpike location, which is our window and patio door campus. We have a Pettyville, West Virginia campus, which is for our entry doors. We do entry doors for the outside of your house. And we have Swainsboro, Georgia, that we recently deployed. And it houses about 210 employees down there. And they do windows there as well. They're a mirror of this location outside of some of their specificities are in our impact area. So we do windows for hurricanes and things of that nature. And that's a specialty in our Georgia facility.
So that's pretty remarkable. You don't hear many companies successfully launching in the middle of a recession. So definitely hats off to you guys on the perseverance for being able to pull that one off. So if you don't mind me asking, what was it that made you decide that AIM was the right partner for Wincore?
Well, Dave can probably talk to that a little bit, but just to give you from my perspective, Dave came in, we've been here 3 years, 2.5 years. Dave and I worked very closely together at another company as well. And he said that he had this potential carrier, and he invited Johnny and I to go to dinner with Tom. And so we're like, yeah, we'll go. So with Wincore, we have a lot of different carriers, and being in the customer service arena, traffic is really important to me. The drivers are really important to me because that's the people that see our customers. That's the people that interact with them. And when we went out and it was just kind of a casual dinner, and I started talking to Tom, and his core values on customer service is what sold me. I mean, it was like right off the bat, I knew that this is a partner for Wincore. He has the same customer value that we do. And it makes it easy for us to partner together because we operate the same. He has his drivers suited in Wincore with AIM on it. The presentation is just great. And I know there's a relationship between Dave and Tom. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, like Lori said, I came here 2.5 years ago, and when I got here, Wincore done a great job of being small, starting, like Johnny said, in a recession. Bringing a dedicated fleet on at that time just didn't make sense for Wincore. It wasn't for anybody that young. But as the growth continued, the customer base that we have continued, we needed a solid company that we could rely on and partnership with rather than just use carriers from every walks of life. And Tom and I go back. I worked for Tom for 5 years. Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 5 years with another company. So I knew a little bit about both sides of the fence, as far as windows and transportation. And we get solicited all the time for companies wanting to come in here, and I apologize, but I believe that somebody from AIM had called or sent me an email, and I at the time was getting so many of them that I didn't even pay attention to it. Then I got an email from Tom. I said, we need to talk, because I had been trying to get a good company in here. There's a lot of dedicated companies out there, but as Lori alluded to just a little bit ago, Tom has the same values that we have. AIM has the same values we have. Keith is a perfect example. I mean, he goes above and beyond any carrier that I have, and he's only been here a few months. It's remarkable to see a small company as AIM and a small company as Wincore value their customers and go that extra step. And people often ask, why are you doing that? Just tell them when they're going to get their stuff. No, we don't do that. And that's why we continue to grow, and our growth is going to continue to get bigger and bigger. And I think one of the questions on the list was, where do we think we're going to grow with AIM? I truly don't believe there's a limit. As Tom and I have had many conversations together, it's a matter of time. Once we get everything laid out in a good solid plan, so it benefits both sides, there's no limit.
Thank you. That was a really great answer. And I think you absolutely nailed it, because, AIM, we're smaller, we're a family company, and we're customer service focused. That's what we do. And we generally, as a company, we care about each other, we care about our customers, and just seeing the way you guys interact reminds me of how kind of we interact. So I see quite a bit of alignment there. So I feel very fortunate that AIM was able to partner with you guys, and we certainly celebrate the success of companies like yours, and are really, feel grateful to be able to be part of that. So you guys kind of talked about coming in through the recession and tackling that obstacle, and really turning what was an obstacle for so many companies into a positive for your own company. How did it work with COVID though? Because that was obviously a wrench in everybody's plan. How did you guys manage through that situation?
Well, first of all, if I'm being very honest, it was trial and error, because when, it just kind of started to snowball, and Dave and I would meet or, corner off with each other, like, what are we going to do? We've never seen anything like this. And, you probably have over 100 years of experience sitting in this room, and we've never seen anything like it. So what we did is we learned from our mistakes. We made some decisions early on because we really didn't know how to handle it. And nobody did. Nobody in the industry has ever seen anything like this. So we did what was best, what we thought was best for our customers at the time. As we didn't really have a slow season last year because it just never stopped. So we adjusted some of our lead times as the industry did. We still tried to remain competitive. The most important thing to us was to give our customer a commitment and stick to it, no matter how painful it might have been. To say, okay, we went from a 1 week lead time to a 10-week, so we were able to pull that back in West Virginia. We're sitting at a 5-week lead time here in West Virginia. So we found out one of the most important things for our customers through this is our truck sequence. And what that means is our trucks get out of here on time and they deliver on time, because, you look at this industry and, my group takes the order, your group delivers the order. And there's a whole lot that goes in between that. And everybody has to kind of understand everybody's role, because we have our largest customer is a dealer. So if we promise them that we're going to be there on a Tuesday, we have to be there on a Tuesday, because they have other deliveries coming the other 4 days of the week. So, we just really kind of have, banded together, tried to think outside of the box. We're still doing it today. Our lead times in Georgia are a little bit longer. We're working on a plan to pull those back a little bit. And basically it's just, we have an 8 o'clock meeting every day. We never used to do that, but we have to have the lay of the land every day, because with the supply chain, it is constantly changing.
So would you say that specifically AIM created an advantage for you in that situation versus if you were just depending on carriers?
Absolutely. Dave can probably talk to that a little bit more, but I know, and poor Keith, like he's supposed to just manage the West Virginia part of it. And we do have a Georgia facility with a manager down there, but I come to Keith with everything. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Georgia service customer, and it's so nice to have the advantage of being able to walk into this office and say, Keith, what's this, what's that?
Probably the best thing that came out of the COVID, if I'm being a little more specific, Jessica, is that the stability that AIM provided in giving our customer the same face every week, and building the trust with that driver to deliver accurately, on time, and with communication prior to them just showing up. I walked in on Keith this morning making phone calls to customers saying, hey, our truck will be there at noon. Our truck will be there this afternoon. Our truck will, the customer comes back and says, well, we can't take delivery after 2. Oh, okay, we'll manage that for you, and the stability through the COVID crisis, through the C-19, has been key in using AIM to have, and we used AIM for key customers, our largest dealers, our biggest customers, our heavy hitters. So that was the type of trust that we've built with Tom and his team.
Very glad to hear that. That's exactly what we aim for, is creating stability, taking out these, variables that can cause interruptions with your customer and how you're servicing your customers. So very glad to hear that, and good answer from everyone. I'm going to kind of wrap us up with a final question. Would you recommend us to other shippers, not limited to window and door manufacturers?
100%.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
No question.
And I would like to share this example. Tom's heard it, Keith knows it, and I try to share it as much as possible. AIM hasn't been here that long, and we had a very upset customer. We couldn't get it right. We could not deliver his product on Friday morning, every Friday morning at 8:00. It just, no matter what carrier I put on it, it wasn't working. First week, we give Mr. Keith here that load, and the folks that you hired, I don't know what kind of structure when you bring somebody in, but the lady that was driving went down. They do not want anybody else but AIM and this driver. I mean, and that's just one example, and that's what AIM brings to the table. And I think we have to build on that. And like I said, Tom, any driver you get, come here, no place else, and you can't expand your business yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, that was certainly a flattering example, and I really appreciate you sharing it. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much for your time and for your business. And we're just so grateful to be able to be given the opportunity to continue to give you the level of service that we have. And we want to make sure that that continues. So thank you guys so much for everything and your time today.